Okay, so like everyone who has a dog, I'm sure, has wondered this at some point.
Yeah.
Why do dogs eat grass?
Yeah, it's such a common thing.
Yeah, it is.
We see them doing it all the time.
Yeah, and we're gonna like really get into it today with these two research excerpts we have.
Yeah, unpack it.
And yeah, there's a lot more to it than you might think.
I think the coolest thing is how this one, like, tiny little behavior can teach us so much about, like, dogs and where they came from and their instincts and all that.
Right, because you always think like, oh, they're eating grass because their tummy hurts or they're
Right.
trying to make themselves throw up.
Like self-medicating, right?
Yeah, but the sources are like, no, not really.
Not that simple.
Yeah, it's not that simple.
Like some dogs do throw up after eating grass.
Right.
But it's not a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like way less than the dogs that just eat grass all the time.
So then what is it?
Right.
Like, what is making them do this?
Well, so first you got to think about, like, dogs aren't just meat eaters.
Right, they're not just carnivores.
Yeah, they're like opportunistic omnivores.
Oh, I like that.
So, like, they can eat plants and digest them, too.
Hmm.
And grass actually has some good stuff in it, like folic acid,
Oh, really?
which helps make red blood cells, and it's important for their metabolism and all sorts of things.
Ah.
So maybe they just know that they need that sometimes, you know?
Oh, so they're like, I'm feeling a little low on folic acid.
Right,
I have to
exactly.
go munch on some grass.
Yeah, exactly.
Like my dog loves to eat my salad.
Uh-huh.
Maybe he's onto something.
Maybe he knows better.
Yeah.
But, this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Wolves, which are like dogs' ancestors, right?
Mm-hmm.
They eat plants, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, researchers have seen them eating all sorts of stuff like grass and berries.
Really?
So maybe it's like an instinct, something passed down from way back when.
So even our like little spoiled house dogs could be like
Yeah.
channeling their inner wolf.
Totally.
I love that.
But there's this one study about wolves where they noticed that the wolves like chose to eat berries and grasses like at certain times a year. Maybe to help them digest stuff or because they needed certain nutrients that were only available at certain times.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so they weren't just eating plants randomly. They were choosing them on purpose.
Wow.
So it makes you wonder if like our dogs are doing the same thing, even though we feed them like fancy dog food and stuff.
That is so cool. Okay,
Okay.
so it might not always be about like a tummy ache or nutrients.
Right.
Could it just be like they like the way it tastes or feels in their mouth?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like my dog is picky about which grass he eats.
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
Like we like different kinds of salads, right?
Yeah.
Maybe dogs like different kinds of grass.
Right. Or like crunchy versus soft or.
Totally. Yeah. Some might like the taste of clover better or whatever.
Exactly.
It's like their own little gourmet thing.
Yeah, I love that.
What if it's like boredom, though?
Yeah.
Like they've got nothing better to do.
You know what? That makes total sense.
Right.
Dogs explore everything with their mouths.
Exactly. Sniffing, licking, chewing.
Yeah, it's all part of how they like understand the world. So eating grass could just be another way to like experience their surroundings.
That's if they're bored, you know?
Right, or if they need more mental stimulation.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got upset stomachs,
Right.
nutrients, instincts,
Yeah.
taste preferences, and boredom.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
Oh, there's one more.
Okay.
What about stress?
Ah.
Like, think about when dogs are stressed out.
Yeah.
They do all these repetitive things right.
Like licking and chewing and pacing around.
Exactly.
My dog goes crazy when there's a thunderstorm.
Yeah. So maybe chewing on grass is like that. Like a
Ah.
way to calm down or get rid of nervous energy.
Wow. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah. So we've got like a whole range of reasons why dogs might eat grass.
From basic stuff like needing to eat to like big feelings like anxiety.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's amazing how much is going on with this one little behavior.
And it really shows how much we can learn just from watching our dogs and asking questions.
Yeah.
And, we might never know for sure why they do it,
Yeah.
but it's cool to think about all the possibilities.
It really is.
And it helps us understand them better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From upset stomachs to wolf ancestors to stress relief.
It's been a journey.
It really has. And it's just so fascinating to see how much there is to learn about something we see every day.
And we're just getting started.
I know. I can't wait for more.
So the next part, we'll talk about when eating grass might actually be a problem.
Oh, okay.
And what you can do about it if you're worried about your dog.
Awesome. I'm ready.
Me too.
So we've been talking about all the different reasons why dogs eat grass.
Right.
But now I'm wondering, is it actually good for them?
Mhm.
Or could it be bad?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like, when is it okay for them to be snacking on the lawn?
Well, usually a little bit of grass here, and there isn't anything to worry about,
Okay.
especially if your dog seems healthy otherwise.
So if they're like running around the park happy as can be and they grab a few bites of grass,
Yeah,
no big deal.
exactly.
Okay.
But there are some times when you might want to pay closer attention.
Okay.
Like if your dog is suddenly eating a ton of grass, like way more than usual,
Okay.
especially if they're throwing up a lot too,
Oh.
that could be
Yeah.
a sign that something else is going on.
So it's not like the grass itself is making them sick.
Right.
It's more like a symptom.
Exactly. Like maybe they have an upset stomach or something,
Okay.
like gastritis or reflux.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see that happening, definitely call your vet.
Yeah, better safe than sorry.
Definitely, they can figure out what's really going on.
Right. And like sometimes you just don't know.
Yeah,
It's good to have a professional take a look.
for sure.
Okay. So we've talked about like when to worry.
Mm-hmm.
What about the grass itself?
Oh, good point.
Is all grass safe for dogs to eat?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Like you definitely don't want them eating grass that's been sprayed with pesticides or herbicides.
Oh, right.
Those can be really toxic.
Yeah, you don't want them eating that stuff.
Nope. And it's not just chemicals either.
Okay.
You also want to avoid grass that might have poop from other animals on it.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's just gross.
It is. And it can have parasites and bacteria that
Yeah.
can make your dog sick.
So like if you're at the dog park,
Yeah,
just keep an eye on where they're munching.
exactly.
Okay, so common sense and a little vigilance go a long way.
For sure.
We've talked about like when to worry and where it's safe for them to eat grass.
Mm-hmm.
What about how to actually like manage their grass eating,
Oh, yeah, good question.
especially if you're worried about it?
Well, one thing you can try is redirection.
Okay.
Like if you see your dog going for a patch of grass, you'd rather they avoid,
Yeah.
distract them with a toy or a treat.
The classic distraction.
It works.
It does.
Or even like a quick game of fetch.
Yeah, tire them out.
Exactly. And the more you do it, the more likely they are to just learn to do something else instead.
So it's all about positive reinforcement.
Yep.
Instead of like yelling at them for eating grass,
Right?
you can just praise them when they choose to do something else.
Exactly. Make it a positive experience.
I like that.
And sometimes the easiest solution is the most obvious.
Oh, okay. What's that?
Make sure your dog is getting enough exercise and mental stimulation.
Oh, right.
A tired dog is less likely to be bored and looking for something to do.
So like a good walk or playtime or puzzle toy.
Exactly. All that good stuff.
It all comes back to just like taking good care of your dog.
Right.
Making sure they're happy and healthy.
It all ties together.
Okay, so we've talked about why dogs eat grass, the potential risks, and how to manage it.
Yeah,
It's been a really interesting conversation.
it has. We've learned a lot.
I feel like I understand my dog so much better now.
Me too. But, we've only looked at the science so far. In the next part, we're going to hear from actual dog owners.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to hear their stories and see what they've observed.
I can't wait. All right, so we've talked about the science behind dogs eating grass, and we've talked about like the practical stuff, like what to do about it.
Mm-hmm.
But now I want to hear from actual dog owners. Like,
Yeah.
what have they seen? What are their experiences?
I love that part.
Me too. It's
Yeah.
always so interesting.
Yeah, because sometimes they notice things that the scientists miss.
Right.
It's like tapping into this whole other level of knowledge,
Yeah, like the collective wisdom of dog lovers everywhere.
Exactly.
So what are some of the things you've heard from dog owners about their grass-eating pups?
Well, one thing that comes up a lot is that dogs are picky
Oh, yeah.
about which grass they eat.
Makes sense.
Like, it's not just any old grass.
Right.
They have their preferences.
Yeah, my dog definitely has his favorites.
It's like they have their own little salad bar in their mind.
I love that.
Some dogs really like that new fresh growth,
Oh, you
like the tender little shoots that come up in the spring.
so cute.
And then other dogs like the longer, tougher grasses.
Huh.
Maybe they like the texture or the taste. I don't know.
So it's kind of like people,
Totally.
we all have our own tastes, right?
Exactly. Some people like spicy food. Some people like sweet food.
Yeah,
Dogs are the same way with grass.
that's so funny.
But it's cool because it can tell us something about why they're eating it.
Oh, how so?
Like, are they just looking for a specific taste?
Okay.
Or maybe they need a certain texture?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they're even smelling something in the grass that we can't even smell.
Wow.
It just adds another layer to the whole thing.
It really does.
And here's another thing that dog owners talk about a lot.
Okay.
They think that dogs eat grass to connect with their wild instincts.
Oh, yeah.
Like, remember we talked about wolves eating plants?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe our dogs are doing the same thing.
Like, even though they live in our houses and sleep on our couches.
Exactly.
Yeah. They still have that little bit of wolf inside them.
Right. And some people feel like it's really special to see that,
Yeah, it's like a little glimpse into their history.
Mm-hmm. Like a reminder that they're connected to something bigger than themselves.
I like that.
It's kind of magical.
It is. So we've got picky eaters and we've got instinctual grazers.
Mm-hmm.
What else have you heard from dog owners?
Okay, well, this one's interesting.
Okay.
Some people think that dogs eat grass to express themselves.
Like to communicate.
Yeah, like it's a way of telling us how they're feeling.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, like, a really happy, energetic dog might eat more grass,
Maybe.
and a calm, chill dog might not eat as much.
Maybe.
Or, like, maybe they eat grass when they're anxious.
Yeah, some people say that.
Wow, so it's almost like they're trying to tell us something.
Right. Because
And we just have to figure out what it means.
it's like a secret code.
Yeah, I love that.
But even if we don't always understand it, it's still really cool to just watch them and try to figure it out.
It really is. This whole deep dive has been so amazing.
It has been.
We've learned so much about why dogs eat grass.
From the science to the practical stuff to all the amazing stories from dog owners.
Yeah, it's been such a journey.
It really shows you how much there is to learn about our dogs.
And how much they can teach us.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this episode, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
I think the most important thing is to just enjoy the mystery.
Okay.
Don't worry too much about finding the one right answer.
Yeah.
Just focus on watching your dog, learning about them, and connecting with them.
Every blade of grass, every little nibble, it's all part of their story.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe someday we'll have all the answers.
Yeah.
But until then, let's just appreciate the journey.
Beautifully said. So to all our listeners out there, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of dogs and grass.
Keep observing, keep learning, and keep loving those furry friends.
Grassy quirks, and all. We'll see you next time.